What's happening, lads? Welcome back to the channel. Hope we're all keeping good, hope we're all keeping cushy. In today's video I'm going into the art of setting goals. So I'm going to basically break down to you exactly how I set my goals. I believe it's quite a well-known concept, but some of you might not know it. So yeah, I'm just going to explain how I build my goals and how I break down those goals to achieve them. The first step to achieving your goals is to set them. I mean, this may seem pretty obvious, but many people need to take the time to actually think about what they want to achieve first. As a result, their goals often need to be more specific and realistic. When setting goals, it's key to be specific. You must be very specific when goal setting. They must be measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This concept is known as the SMART goal setting framework. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. S-M-A-R-T. So let's break it down from the top. The S in SMART, specific. Your goals should be extremely clear and well-defined. For example, instead of saying, I want to get in shape, you would instead say, I want to lose 1 stone in 3 months. That goal is specific and it's also time-bound, but we'll get into time-bound afterwards. That goal is specific to what you want to achieve. Saying, I want to get in shape or I want to lose weight is too vague. We must have specificity in our goals as it gives us a clearer route to achieve the goal. So we've got the M in SMART, measurable. Your goals should be measurable so you can track your progress and actually see how close you are to achieving them. For example, instead of setting a goal, I want to double my earnings, you would set a goal, I want to double my earnings within a year. Then we have the A in SMART, achievable. Your goal should be achievable but still challenging. Don't make them too easy. They must be challenging because that's where you'll grow the most. That's where you'll learn the most. And if your goals are too easy, you won't be motivated to achieve them. If they don't really have a high reward, then you aren't as motivated to achieve them. You don't keep that discipline intact unless you are a savage and you're just disciplined anyway. But on the flip side, if your goals are too complicated, you'll be discouraged to achieve them as well and you'll just end up giving up. That brings us on to R, relevant. Your goals should reflect your overall goals and values. For example, if your goal is to scale your earnings, make sure that your other goals, such as getting more education or taking on more responsibilities, make sure that they are aligned with the main goal. When we have high standard goals set for ourselves, we often need to have miniature goals, miniature missions, side missions on the side, which drive us towards the main goal. You stack up these small wins and then that leads to the big win. That brings us on to the T in SMART, time bound. Your goals should have a deadline so that you have a sense of urgency and you stay disciplined and you stay motivated. For example, instead of saying, I want to learn a new language, you'd say, I want to speak Spanish conversationally within 6 months. You can use this SMART goal setting framework to set your goals. This is how I personally set my goals, because if you set your goals right, once you start working towards that goal and you have the right framework in place, these miniature goals leading up to the big goals, your deadlines, everything's measured, everything's relevant to one another. It's the perfect framework for setting goals. I suggest you give it a try and I'll give you a few exercises you can do to help complete your goal setting process. So what you want to do, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now you need to imagine that you've already achieved your goal. What does it feel like? What do you see? What do you hear? Now you need to think about the steps that you must take to achieve this goal. What do you need to do first? Now write down your goal and the steps needed to achieve it. Review your goal and steps regularly and make adjustments if you need it. Now those are 6 things that you can do that will help you to set goals clearly, to get in the right framework and the right mindset to set goals. Because I believe that you shouldn't set your goals willy-nilly. I believe that you should be very strict with setting goals and very serious about it. Like if you're going to set yourself a goal, then make sure that you follow through with it. Make sure that you are aligning this goal for success. Make sure that you are structuring it so that you can actually achieve it. Now once you've set your SMART goals, it is essential to write them down. You must be writing down all your goals. This will help you stay focused and stay disciplined. Sometimes I like to share my goal with a trusted friend or family member, but not in most cases. It depends. You can break the manifestation if you start just talking shit about it. If you start explaining about your goals to everyone, if you start explaining your goals to people that are in a low vibrational state, then they tend to fucking suck your drive out of you and suck your ambition out of you. So you need to be very careful about who you actually speak to about your goals. I think it's best to just share your goal with maybe someone that actually understands what you're doing, that supports you, that will give you good energy, but most people won't. So be very careful with who you share your goals with, because you also don't want to break the manifestation. And also telling people about goals like you've already achieved them gives you fucking dopamine hits to your brain like you've achieved the goal. And it lowers your drive. You need to stay in a deprived state. You need to stay hustle hungry. Getting these small hits of dopamine by explaining your goals and fucking doing stupid shit, this just all drives you away from your goal. Right, so after you've set your SMART goals, what's the next step? Achieving them. So I'm going to explain to you now what I do to help me achieve my goals. So you need to break down your goals into smaller steps. This will make your goals seem less daunting and a bit more achievable. Especially if you're setting high standard goals, especially if you're setting goals where you need to extremely push yourself, Breaking it down to smaller goals will help you stay disciplined towards actually achieving the goal because it seems more achievable. Like say if your goal is to write a book, break it down into smaller steps like brainstorming ideas, coming up with chapter headings, doing it chapter by chapter, take it slowly. There's no point in thinking about doing everything at once. It gets too overwhelming. We can always take one more step. Just always think about that. If it seems too far and the goal seems fucking way away, just take one more step. We can always take one more step. Eventually, you do one more step, one more step, one more step, one more step. All of a sudden, you're 10 steps ahead now. One more step, one more step. Now you're 100 steps ahead. One more step, one more step. Now you've almost finished a marathon. So if you ever get stuck and you ever feel like your goal is so far away and it's just overwhelming, you never actually know how close you are. So just always take one more step. Next, you need to create a plan. Once you've broken down your goals into smaller steps, you need to plan how to achieve them. Now, this part of the plan may involve setting deadlines for each step and identifying any resources you need. Now you've broken down your main goals into the smaller steps. What do you need to get these smaller steps smashed out of the park? What do you need to get that done? Right, how long do you have now to do it? Set yourself a time frame and kick yourself up the arse to get it done. And then that leads on to the next step, is taking action. The most important thing is taking action and start working towards your goals. Do not wait until you feel perfect or the perfect time or... Bruv, it doesn't ever come. It never fucking comes, alright? You will never ever have everything figured out. The perfect time is now. Just fucking start and just figure it out as you fucking go. The next thing you need to do is be patient. Achieving your goals takes time and effort. You need to keep going even if you don't see results immediately. Just keep working hard and don't ever fucking give up. And then you need to be persistent. If you experience setbacks, and everyone experiences setbacks from time to time, the important thing is to learn from your mistakes. Don't brush it past and try and forget about it. Learn from it. There's so much to learn from failure and from fucking up. Like, that is where most of the growth is. In fact, all. I mean, you learn a lot from the wins as well, but when you lose, when you fail, bruv, that's what builds the character, that's what builds resilience, turns you into a savage. And the important thing is to just stay persistent and just carry on going. Consistency is key. But yeah, boys, that is how I set my goals. It is pretty well known, but this is the best way to set your goals in a way that you can achieve them. But yeah, boys, if you enjoyed the video, drop us a like, subscribe. So.